Good morning. Welcome to Story Time with Mrs. Orchid. Today we're going to read one of my favorite stories. It's called Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. And we are going to use our magic gloves so we remember what we read. If you don't have a magic glove and you don't know what a magic glove is, make sure that you ask Mom and Dad to have you watch the magic glove video. Then you'll have a magic glove. If you don't have one, that's okay. Just listen to the story and you can interact anyway. Are you ready to read this story? Good. In this story, we're going to use our magic glove to remember who it's about, what they do, when they do it, where they do it, and why they do it. If we know all those things, who, what, where, when, why, you know that whole story. You can have it right there in the palm of your hand. So when you have to answer questions, you're going to know what that story was about. Are you ready? I'm going to show you how it works. Here's our story. Click, clack, moo, cows that type. You ever heard of cows typing? They are so silly. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. So let's stop for a minute and say who was this story about? You're right, it's about Farmer Brown. Now, what was happening in the story? That's our second one. It's about Farmer Brown. What was he doing? Yes, he was hearing click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. I wonder who's doing that. Now, when do you think this story is happening? Let's look for clues. I see that it's light outside, so it's probably happening in daytime and not nighttime. Where is this story happening? Well, it doesn't tell us, but look what you see here. There's a barn. Where do you see barns? On a farm, and he's Farmer Brown. So I think it was probably on a barn. Why do you think he's hearing click, clack, moo? We don't know yet, but we're going to keep reading and see if we can find out. So we know that this story is about Farmer Brown, and he's hearing click, clack, moo in the daytime on his farm. Let's see why. At first, he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. Then, he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. Let's think about it using our magic glove. Who's this story about? Now there's two who's. It's about Farmer Brown and it's about the cows. What are they doing? Well, Farmer Brown is hearing click, clack, moo. And the cows are asking for electric blankets. Okay, when is this happening? Well, it still looks like it's light outside, so in the daytime. Where? Well, it doesn't tell us, but this is red and the sign says the barn is very cold at night. So I think it's happening in the barn. Why is this happening? You're right, because the barn is very cold at night. Let's see, what do you think Farmer Brown's going to do about this? It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets? No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. Look at this shadow. How do you think Farmer Brown is feeling? I think he's feeling frustrated. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he could hear the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety clack, moo. What do you think they're going to type this time? The next day, he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. Let's talk about this. Who's it about? 3 people now. It's about Farmer Brown, it's about the cows, and now it's about the hens. What are they doing? Well, Farmer Brown is reading notes and hearing. You're right. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. And the cows and the hens are typing and asking for electric blankets. Why? Because it's cold in the barn. Let's see what Farmer Brown's gonna do. What do you think he's gonna do? Those are really good ideas. Let's see if you're right. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. No eggs? What? The note says, closed. No milk, no eggs. Farmer Brown cried, what? No eggs? In the background, he heard them. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. Oh, what do you think's gonna happen? Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Look at him down here. He's got his hands in the air and he's running from the hens and the cows. And they just want those electric blankets. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter and he said, Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum. That's like a decision maker. To the cows. Now let's talk about this. Who is this story about so far? Farmer Brown, the hens, the cows, and now Duck, who is neutral. He's not for the cows and hens or for Farmer Brown. He's just helping out. Let's see what Duck does. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. What do you think the cows are going to tell him? Let's find out. Early the next morning, Duck knocked on the door. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we'll send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. All right, let's talk about this. We know who. Farmer Brown, the cows, the hens, and now Duck are all in this story. What's happening? Right. The cows and the hens want electric blankets, and Farmer Brown wants the typing to stop so he can get milk and eggs. When is it happening? Well, so far, we've had daytime and the emergency meeting at night. Where is this happening? Yes, in the barn. Why is it happening? Because it's cold in the barn and they don't want to be cold, so they want blankets. Farmer Brown decided, you're right, Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. Oh, look, here's the cows all cozy with their new blankets, and all the hens are cozy with their new blankets. So they'll probably be milk and eggs tomorrow. Let's see what happens the next day. The next morning, Farmer Brown got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. And then he heard, click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. Oh dear. What's happening? Who? Now it's about the ducks. What are they doing? They're typing just like the cows. Where? Well, they're outside in the daytime. When? Early in the morning. Why? You got it. Now, they want something. So they didn't give the typewriter to Farmer Brown. Now, they're asking for a diving board for their pond. So Farmer Brown has a new problem. How do you think he's going to fix it? You got it. I think he gave in immediately and gave him the diving board, and he probably got his typewriter back. So we read this story, Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type, and because we asked throughout the whole story who, what, where, when, and why, you've got that whole story right here, which means it's right here. I hope you enjoyed our story of Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type using your magic glove. Enjoy, and until our next story, have a good day.